Hello. For those of you who don't know me, which is probably most of you, I would assume, my name is Patrick Bergstrom. I work at Optum, a little health tech startup down in the western suburbs. 165,000 employees, so yeah, it's pretty small. Fortune 10, whatever. And unfortunately, because of that, it is enterprise. And so what I'm going to talk about is probably more of a horror story than anything as to what it is like to, I guess, embrace chaos at the enterprise scale, right? Before that, I came from Best Buy. At Best Buy, I led the site reliability engineering team for BestBuy.com. And chaos was inevitable because we too used Oracle databases. And so, no offense to anybody that loves Oracle that's in the room. But as part of that, I moved on. Now I'm at Optum because we solved all those problems. It got boring, and now we're solving new problems that are broken again all the time. So I lead SRE and chaos engineering, and ironically enough, also problem management at Optum. I'm not sure how that last one came into play, probably because I fixed problems and then caused more problems, and they just said, take all the problems. So, when it comes to chaos engineering, though, one of my favorite theoretical mathematicians that I like to follow is Dr. Ian Malcolm. Has anyone heard of Dr. Ian Malcolm? A couple people maybe get the reference. He has a really interesting theory on how chaos applies to the modern world around us all the time, right? For those of you who don't know who Dr. Ian Malcolm is, he was played by Jeff Goldblum in the cult classic Jurassic Park in 1993. It's a great film, highly recommend it. But one of the things that he says that really sticks with me, especially when it comes to chaos engineering, is this idea of you were so preoccupied with whether or not you could, you didn't stop to think whether or not you should. And at the enterprise, I run into that every single day. I made the mistake of coming into Optum really gung-ho. It's like, yeah, SRE, chaos engineering, we're going to fix all the problems. I have to win culture, and I have to win hearts, and I have to win minds, and that is primarily my job. And it actually still kind of is to an extent. A lot of what I do is winning hearts and minds. But unfortunately, I'm apparently pretty good at winning hearts and minds because we got in front of the CTO, one of our 6 CTOs, which is another story for another day. And I said, chaos engineering, here's how it works, here's what it's going to deliver, here's what we're going to do for you. And she said, yes, that's great, I love it, let's do it. And we're going to do it everywhere. I was like, okay, wait, hang on a second. This may have backfired. So we spun up the SRE program. I got a couple applications that were working really well. We drove some reliability into some of the applications. So hey, go team. We hit 3 nines, which is awesome for Optum. Not quite to my scale, but and what ended up happening was then this team said, okay, let's try chaos. Let's do this chaos thing that you're talking about. I'm really excited about it. I want to do it. It's like, okay, great. We're going to do it in stage. So we did chaos tests in stage, and as predicted, everything failed. Like the whole thing just collapsed in on itself. Threads were going through the roof. We ran into garbage collection issues. We ran into CPU suspension. The whole thing collapsed, took it down. Probably took about 45 minutes of work to bring stage back. Not quite a week-long outage, but it was still pretty disastrous. The team was really excited about it, though, which was really cool. And I was really excited that they were excited about it. The problem, though, inherently became, okay, let's schedule production for next week. It's like, okay, well, hang on. I didn't do a good enough job explaining this, right? Like, we identified problems. We know what's going on. Let's maybe fix those so that we can get to the point where we can predict what will happen in stage successfully. And then we can start talking about how to test those predictions in production. So while it's really easy to win culture and win hearts and win minds and get really excited about chaos engineering, for those of you who don't do it yet, at the enterprise, your biggest challenge may seem like trying to win the hearts and minds of executive leadership. Because at the bottom, when we get those grassroots movements going, like they help. They take care of themselves. The whole thing will just drive on its own, right? But I would caution you, if you're really good at winning hearts and minds and you get in front of your executive leadership, you have to be prepared for the consequences that will come out of that. So thank you very much.